Welcome to podcast 26 in the series of Who Let the Master Out. In our last episode, we talked about becoming aware of our fears and observing them from a place where we're not in a fight or flight mode so that we could truly see and experience those uncomfortable emotions. But in today's episode, we're going to be chatting about sitting still and being alone with ourselves. I'm sure we've all heard that question. If you could sit with anyone in the world ever and chat with them for a day, who would it be? And we normally think of someone who exists or existed outside of ourselves. That's what we're taught. The answers are out there. But truthfully, there's nothing new out there. All the answers exist within our own hearts, our own souls. Everything we see out there is just a projection of what is in here anyway. So why invest time and energy trying to communicate with someone who's out there, who's just projecting their own story onto us? Well, we have the desire to do that in order to experience this world of conditional love. Fear and all its offspring emotions that feel uncomfortable to us because they're something new. We're not used to feeling all these emotions back home. And that's why we come here. So that's why our fear ego teaches us to seek outside of ourselves. But sitting still, getting quiet, and listening to the amazing, truth-filled being inside us while sitting in this large amusement park of fear is our ultimate experience. Because it's then we're able to feel and witness the huge, unconditional love being we are, right next to what it might feel like to be limited and small. When we do that, we understand just how big we really are. It's like the pictures we've seen where there's a picture of something like an animal or a mountain or something, and we think how cool it is. But then we focus in on the picture and we see this little tiny human being standing next to it, and then we realize that, wow, what we were looking at was even much bigger and huge than we realized. And when we quiet our voices of fear, we can hear the whisper of unconditional love that is all-knowing and all-powerful. It brings peace and unconditional love as it delivers the truth of reality. And that reality that we are powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made from unconditional love. We are love. Our fear ego only keeps us inside a different story because that's what we asked it to do from the very beginning. It keeps us invested in the fear game out there. And it will keep us busy trying to fix everyone else because we think we know what everyone else needs in order to be happy. We go and reorganize their kitchen, putting everything where we think it would be best for them. But all we end up doing is confusing them because now they can't find anything anymore. And we might even have an angry chef on our hands. Eventually, we end up coming back to our own business and to our own kitchen, and we find dishes stacked in the sink growing some sort of scientific experiment on them. The trash is overflowing, the pantry is disorganized. But we realize also our kitchen is full of delicious, nutritious food. We didn't need to be off in everyone else's kitchen trying to get their food. We had plenty right here. We reach an appointed time in our lives where we asked our fear ego to awaken us by introducing extreme uncomfortable feelings and escalating the story so that it would become so very obvious that this place isn't real. It's just a giant amusement park of fear. It's then that we can just hit the pause button on this fear movie and sit for a spell. Let your higher being come and sit down next to you on a bench in the middle of that giant amusement park. Have some ice cream. Chat about life and how you feel about yourself. Let your higher self talk about your true worth based in unconditional love from the mother and father of all the things that are here. This journey is all about our worth. When we look outside of ourselves into the conditional world of love that's rooted in fear and all those conditional love laws, we will always feel worth less. When we return to our hearts to find this amazing unconditional love that is the true foundation of our worth, we see that we are more priceless than we could have ever imagined. Next episode, we're going to talk about how we all eventually have a coming out of our own. But until then, break the cycle. Be free. Be huge. Because we are giants in a world of giants who have been taught that we're weak and small. But it's time to rise. It's time to let your master out.